because this thing. All right, very good. Holy crap, we finally got this thing to work. Hey guys, this is Frank with for the Old Breed, and my guest today is David West. David West is a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu practitioner. You're a brown belt, right, David?
Yes, sir.
So I wanted to have him on the show, man, because like I said, we've been doing a lot of Brazilian Jiu Jitsu guys, and I saw him, and he trains with a lot of the people that I've interviewed. So welcome to the show,
Man, I appreciate
David.
you having me. Yeah.
Thank you for coming in. So tell us a little bit about yourself, David.
Well, I started training in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
Played amateur baseball for probably 7 years before that.
I was about to say, you look like a baseball player, man.
Yeah, man, I traveled a bunch, played
Mhm.
a lot of baseball.
Mhm.
But then in 2005, I had my first daughter, and the traveling had to kind of curtail a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Had to kind of start working a lot,
Yeah.
anywhere from 40 to 60 hours a week. So
Yeah.
my jiu-jitsu training has been evening times.
Yeah.
Whenever I can get it in. Obviously,
Yeah.
work and kids take
Yeah.
priority. But that's kind of where I started in 2009. I walked into a gym, and there was a 135-pound young man, 18 years old.
Yeah. I know where this is going, but go ahead.
I was probably 190,
Uh-huh.
coming off my best year of baseball. I
Mhm.
was been lifting weights.
Mm-hmm.
This young man whooped me for about 90 days.
Yeah.
90 days straight. Chokes, arm bars, you name it, he was catching me, and I was addicted.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out why, but I had to keep coming back and figure it out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you certainly put in your time. I mean, you're a brown belt, right?
Yep.
So,
Brown belt under Chip Coffee.
Yes, I've heard about Mr. Coffee. I probably need to get him on the podcast. So go ahead. So keep telling us, man. So what are you trying to do right now? As far as you're a brown belt. Are you trying to take it to the next level or what?
Oh, for sure. I'll never stop training.
Mm-hmm.
Belt, no belt. It's good for everybody gets into it for their own reason. I was coming out of baseball and I wanted to be competitive still.
Yeah.
I still wanted to be active. I wanted to be in shape. But as the years go on and life mounts, jiu-jitsu is more of an escape almost.
Oh, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, when you're on the mats, you're worried about getting your neck ripped off instead of all the other problems in the world. So jiu-jitsu, I'll never stop jiu-jitsu. It's become part of my daily life.
So if you had to get people, involved or get somebody in, if you had a friend that you wanted to get them involved in jiu-jitsu, why do you think they should do jiu-jitsu instead of, let's say, I don't know, kickboxing?
It's kind of a toss-up. I would say they both have real life practicality.
Mm-hmm.
But in jiu-jitsu, it seems like most fights go to the ground.
Yeah.
Anyone can get knocked out, but I think most fights go to the ground. You need to have some type of wrestling or grappling background.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's more practical as far as real life goes. Kickboxing is great, but there's no rules in a street fight.
Yeah, no, man. That's what I was telling. I think it was Brent. No, I know. I was actually telling Rodney that. I mean, I see these women. They do like kickboxing, and they're like hitting the bag and this and that. But if a woman, they've got small wrists, small hands. If she wants to fight with somebody that's a lot bigger than her, I don't think it's going to go well for her if she's going to go against a striker, right?
I don't think so as well. I have 5 daughters.
Jesus.
Yeah.
5?
5.
Man, you must have done something wrong in your past life, man. I don't know.
Good at a handful of things, Frank. A handful of things.
Yeah.
But I got my girls training at a young age because I didn't ever want them to be victims.
Yeah.
They are females. There's they're going to go to school. They're going to go to college. They're going to go to parties. I'm not naive to a lot of things, so I don't ever want them to be victims or taken advantage of.
Yeah. So how old are your daughters?
Oldest is 15. The youngest is 6 months. So it's like 15, 11, 9, 6, and 6 months.
Wow, man. Jesus. Okay. So yeah, man. So I think too, I always think that's a great, if a woman's going to do any kind of martial arts, I think jiu-jitsu it's number one.
Jiu-jitsu and a small blade on your hip.
that helps too.
Close quarters.
Yeah. So is your daughter currently training jujitsu, your 15-year-old, or no?
She has started becoming a young woman and making decisions on her own, and I encourage her to do it. She's very tough young woman, but at the same time, she's getting to that age where she's having other interests and things like that. So
Listen, man, I totally get it. I have a 27-year-old daughter, and she went through the same thing too. So it's a tough age to be. 15, man. They're in high school, and they think that's the most important thing. And
well, they're like any. I was the same way. I thought I knew everything.
Yeah,
Everything about everything, and
yeah. Well, I just told my kids that once they get out of high school, they're gonna find out how insignificant high school is. But they have to kind of live it. They have to get there. They have to live it themselves to kind of figure that out.
yeah, that's their whole world right now.
But as far as with this whole thing with the COVID, have you been training at all or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I asked the same thing to Rodney, and he kind of didn't want to tell me, but I was like, listen, man, I'm not judging you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I gotta train.
Yeah.
I mean, when I get the opportunity, I gotta go train. It's just if not, I'm liable to go get in trouble. I don't even know.
I agree. So, but what do you think about this whole COVID-19 thing, man?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. The majority of my work is in hospitals and other large buildings. We supply, boilers and chillers, commercial heating and air.
Oh, is that what you do?
I'm a pipe fitter.
Okay.
Local 72, yes, sir.
Okay.
But it's I got to be out there in it. We take precautions. We wear a PPE, and I mean, you still got to live your life. You can take precautions and you can do things, but you still got to live.
Dude, they were talking about in California that they wanted to shut it down for like 3 months, man. It's like, how are people going to eat, man? Like, what the hell's going on?
I don't know, unless they're dependent on government handout, which...
I mean, I know they have a lot of that in California.
Right.
But still, man, it just breaks my heart because, I go out all the time and I've seen the that's what I always tell everybody. I've seen the restaurants, man. They've been decimated, man.
Yeah.
Like they're ghost town.
And they only allow so many people in a certain seating area. So it is tough. I feel for everybody in that industry.
Yeah, it just breaks my heart, man, and it just kind of shows me how people are, man. People are fighting over toilet paper, but if you don't have any food to eat, I don't think I think toilet paper should be the last thing you should be worried about, right?
I agree.
So I think too, the ignorance that people have is whatever, man. I've been broke most of my life, and now I do okay for myself, but it's taken me a long time. So I'm in a good situation, but I used to be that guy that was struggling, week to week. So to me, it just bothers me when you go on these podcasts and these guys are like, well, you need to stay in the house. It's like, well, that's right. That's okay for you. You're a millionaire. Yeah. What about that person that's got like 3 daughters or 3 kids and he's a young guy and he's got to feed his family? I mean, what are you going to tell them?
It's easy to say when you're in a good position.
Exactly.
But those of us that are check to check, we got to go work. Especially with children, you got people depending on you. So.
Yeah. So does your wife work or?
Not at the moment. She's going to school.
Wow, man. So you got that burden of feeding 5 your daughters, and then you got to feed your wife too.
Yeah.
Oh, no wonder. So you work all the time then?
As much as I can, anywhere from 40 to 60 plus hours a week.
Yeah, that sounds rough. Tell me a little bit about Chip Coffee. Is it Chip Coffee?
Chip Coffee, yeah.
Tell me a little bit about him.
I lived in Covington for about 10 years. Then I moved to Adairsville, which is Northwest Georgia, in 2014. And I trained in Covington, in Conyers, actually. I trained with Armando Avicilla, who is a black belt under Roberto Travel. I got through purple belt with him, and then I moved to Adairsville in 2014, and I knew Chip taught in Cartersville. I knew of him, but I never met him. So immediately I gotta go train. I gotta go train. I want to be in a Team Travis gym. I didn't want to switch. This is where I'd been. It's the lineage I want to follow. And Chip was one of the most down-to-earth people. Super nice guy. but he is a monster on the mat.
Is he?
He is a I've never felt the pressure that man brings.
I'm sure. You're black belt.
Yeah, and he's just not your ordinary black belt either. He's pretty wild.
Really?
But he's a good man too. He's also a veteran.
Yeah, he was in the Navy. I heard. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he was. I think he was definitely in the military. But good guy, man. Just good guy. Been there for me through rough patches in my life, as a confidant, a mentor, a brother. Guy's good as gold. Good as gold. I'd do anything for him.
Brent was telling me that he did a lot of military funerals, man. That takes and he said he did like over 1,000, man. That's a heavy toll, man. You know, like psychologically. So I have actually a newfound respect now. When he told me that, I was like, God, man,
he's so driven though. Mm-hmm. Like he's just focused.
Is he?
I mean, you would have to talk to him, and he would just motivate you. Mm-hmm. Just motivate you from talking. He's amazing. He's a real. You'd have to get him on here. He's a good dude.
I'm definitely. Oh man, I would love to have him. Eventually I'd like to get everybody. Right now I'm just going down the line, man. Yeah. And I just started doing this, but yeah, I mean it's awesome. What I was telling you offline is we always hear about all these famous people that are doing it, but we never talk about like the regular guy that's doing jiu-jitsu, and I think that I think it's too up to us to promote this beautiful art, man, that we call Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah. And I think, man, if it was up to me, everybody should be doing it,
Everybody that I've met in the jiu-jitsu community has been good people. Mm-hmm. Just good people. I mean, I guess you kind of got to be like-minded to go in there and want to get the hell beat out of you for an hour, 2 hours at a time. Then stand up and hug your partner and go home. That's the cool thing about jiu-jitsu is someone will try to hurt you and then thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you for training.
Do you think that it builds humility? Do you think jiu-jitsu makes you more humble?
Yeah. I get humbled every time I get on the mat.
But why do you think it does that?
I think because there's so many ebbs and flows in jiu-jitsu. Like you can train and drill and you think, all right, now I'm getting good. Mm-hmm. And then there's always the next person who's been training just a little bit harder. Mm-hmm. And they come in and maybe they stuff your submissions or stuff your pass or something. And you learn from it. How did I get caught there? I can't tell you how many nights I've gone home, driving home from training,
thinking about it.
And I can't stop thinking about it.
I'll
lay in bed, try to sleep, and I'll be thinking about how I got caught, what I should have done. And then I'm just itching to get back out there and try it again. Mm-hmm. And then it's never the same.
It's the puzzle, man. You're always trying to figure out that puzzle, you know?
Every now and then you find a piece, and then it may be a while before you find the next one. Mm-hmm. But I don't know what it is. It's just addictive.
So what kind of people you meet in the jiu-jitsu community?
All kinds. All races, religions.
Hold on one second, man. I gotta put the dogs away. We're live right now, so it doesn't matter. We're breaking all rules, but I got 3 dogs that I gotta put away. Hold on one second. Keep talking, man. Talk about whatever you want. This is a live podcast, so it doesn't matter. Just talk about jiu-jitsu and why you love jiu-jitsu so much, or talk about the interesting people that you've met doing jiu-jitsu, man. Talk about like the different, because, I'm sure you have doctors, orthodontists, lawyers. Well, what do you think about that? Go ahead.
Ah, man. There's so many great people that I've met in jiu-jitsu from all backgrounds, all occupations that, I mean, it's cool. You get to kind of find out what everyone does. You can help each other out outside of the gym. You get different opinions, different outlooks.
Over there.
It's just really cool to meet all the different people.
So that's what I was talking. Hey, go over there. Just go over there. Go over there. Sit. There. Just get out. I'm trying to fix it, man. I'm trying to fix it. So that's what I was talking to. That's what I was talking to Humberto. Is just so many. I mean, I've seen doctors. I've seen lawyers. And what's so amazing about jiu-jitsu is that a lot of people have this misconception that it's like a bunch of like maybe muscle heads or people that are just wanting to fight. But in actuality, jiu-jitsu kind of attracts really smart people. Do you think that's true or not?
I think you have to be somewhat cerebral.
Mm-hmm.
You do have the guys that come in and just will drive forward like a bulldozer.
Yeah.
But there's so many guys that are dangerous that don't look at it.
Exactly.
They're so you wouldn't look at them and go, that dude's a badass.
Yes.
But then they grab you and twist you up and choke the hell out of you, and you're like, damn. That's why I never underestimate anyone ever on the street or anything. I don't care how big or how small.
I think that's actually a benefit, man, because I mean, do you ever feel like that when you go out that you need to fight with people or no?
No. I try to avoid conflict at all times. It's a lot easier to walk away from a dumbass.
Mm-hmm.
But if your back's against the wall, you got to do what you got to do.
Course.
You got to defend yourself, your family,
of course,
and those that cannot.
So you listen, guys. So you heard it from the man himself right here. This guy's a brown belt. So this is something else that David and I talked about offline. I hear all these guys in the manosphere, supposedly these guys that are talking about the alpha male, whatever that means, but they always say that alpha males are always ready to fight. And I just absolutely disagree. I think people that have that warrior mindset, when they go out, I think that's the last thing that they're thinking about, because they don't have that energy, man. I mean, I go out all the time. I mean, that's the last thing I'm thinking about.
I don't have anything to prove when I go out.
Exactly. But why is that, David? Do you think jiu-jitsu has something to do with that? I mean, because you're always training, you're always getting smashed.
I think so, but
right?
I think it has a little bit to do with maturity.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're going to run into people who, and you never know what anyone's gone through, but maybe they were picked on at a young age. Now they're out there working out and they want to impress somebody. They got something to prove, and I try to steer clear of those people.
I think it's insecurity, man. I think some men are just insecure. That I feel like they have something to prove. The problem is, as you see these guys on like YouTube and like street fights, and they absolutely don't know what they're doing. Hold on, let me shut this. They don't know what they're doing, man. They look like they've never trained, and you see it all the time,
You got guys that watch the UFC.
Exactly.
And they think they know how to fight.
Yeah, man, it's really bad. So tell me about what's going on right now for David? Are you I know with the whole COVID thing, I know everything's shut down, but are you looking at any particular competitions that you want to do?
Yeah, I had plans to do the Atlanta Opens this year, but as far as I know, I don't know if they're still going on or when they're going to pick back up. So
what's going on, man? You're more connected than I am. When are they going to start open? Do they not know or what?
I don't think so. They're just now talking about baseball and things of that nature, because you got those big events. The big events draw crowds.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll either have to say everybody can do what they want, or figure something out, because you're going to have large crowds at those events. You're going to have people on top of each other. So the spread of anything would be inevitable if it is a factor at that point.
All right, man. So we're doing right now is, like I said, we're doing a podcast and we're going to do a little bro science. So what I will tell, and I actually got into an argument with my family members about this, but if you look at the statistics of Georgia, of our home state, most people that are dying of the COVID-19 are 65 and older, and they have underlying conditions. Right. So when you're looking at the Brazilian Jiu Jitsu community, you're talking about people that are usually, they're pretty healthy people, not just in the way that they are because they're training all the time, but in as far as like, the guys in the community, especially the guys that have been doing it for a long time, they're the first ones that keep their nails trimmed, that don't walk on the mat with socks on or tennis shoes on. Like they are very focused on that, right? Is that true or not?
Yeah, for sure. That's cleanliness and respect for your gym,
mm-hmm.
and respect for your teammates and stuff. As far as being clean, I think that's just my opinion. After a long day of work, if I go to a gym and there's no shower, then I'm probably not going to be training that day.
Mm-hmm.
Like I go home first and I shower. Or if I go to a gym and they have showers, I'm showering before I train and then obviously immediately after.
Yeah, and they were talking about that most people are asymptomatic, man. Like basically you get it and then you just whatever, you just get over it, you know? So like I said, that's all I'm doing right now, man. It's just bringing that up because I mean, how long are we supposed to be shut down for? You know, I know that we're open, but there's many states right now that are closed, right? So I mean, what do you think about it? Are you just like right in the middle? I mean, because obviously you work in a lot of hospitals, right?
Right.
I mean, are they busy?
They haven't really struck me as busier than normal.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like everyone's taking a lot of extra precautions, but I mean the beds aren't full from the hospitals I've been to. One that I went to recently, they had a whole wing converted into a like an isolation room. It was under negative pressure.
Yeah.
No one was in it. So and that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a great thing.
I guess that's a good thing, but
But think about it like this, David. So listen, man, I'm just a regular guy, but they were talking about, you know, that they're actually having to furlough doctors because people that are like, let's say, having selective surgeries, like let's say, I don't know, they need to cut some guy's leg off.
Yeah.
They're like, you have to wait. And as a matter of fact, people that are, let's say, are doing chemotherapy, it's like 80% down because they don't want to go into hospitals because they're afraid to get COVID.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So the effect of this whole COVID, it's not just people with COVID, but people that actually need surgery. So what's going to happen to those people?
I don't know.
Right?
I don't know.
So I'm just putting it out there. So listen to me. We don't have to figure this stuff out now, but maybe I want you to think about it at night, you know, because as a matter of fact, you know, that's just a natural thing of psychology. So when you have that term, I'm going to sleep on it, you are actually sleeping on it. Your brain is basically trying to figure out that problem, you know? So just think about that, man, because I think about it all the time. Like I said, as a small businessman. And as a matter of fact, I didn't shut down my business at all while this whole thing was going on, but I was making masks.
Yeah.
You know, I was making face shields because I have the capabilities, you know?
Yeah.
So like I said, man, I think it's unfortunate, man. I'm not trying to downgrade any of it, but I think I made more money because of the COVID.
Yeah. God, I can only imagine the people who are selling PPE, masks, and all that are bankrolling right now.
Well, it's harder than it sounds, but I think the bigger companies now, they're getting on board because they're doing it by the, you know, probably the, you know, thousands, you know. I mean, you know, we have a small company, so you know, we're doing it, but not to that extent. But have you ever trained at Travern's place or no? Yeah. What do you think of Professor Roberto Travern?
Man, he's a legend. He's a legend. You look at the accolades that man has, and the amount of time it took him to get his black belt, and how much he trained, and where he fought. I mean, it's an impressive resume. And for him, you know, he's a humble guy.
Yeah.
You know, to just walk around on the mats, and you know, he's serious about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
But he will smile and he will joke with you, and he's just a really good guy.
Yeah.
Really good guy, but serious about his jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
But you know, with like I said, with his accolades, of course you want to learn from him. You know, and he's taught my professors Armando and Chip Coffey. So and they bring his same style of pressure and spider guard and stuff like that. So man, it's just a great team to be a part of.
So what do you prefer, man? What's your style? Do you like being on the bottom, or you just like constantly like putting pressure?
I like to play guard.
You like to be really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if I could be on top, that's great too. But it seems like most of the time that I've been training with guys a little bit bigger than me. You know, I'm tall and lean and long.
You got long, dude. You're like long limbs, so I'm sure that would be perfect for you to work. Dude, I'm a bottom guy too. I like to be, and I'm a small guy, but I love being on the bottom.
Yeah, it's fun. But I seem to always be training with bigger guys, heavier guys. So I was like always on bottom.
Yeah.
So it's either sink or swim.
But what do you do? Like, what are you doing? Anything that the young guys are doing right now, the Berimbolo or anything like that?
No,
I'm trying to get into it, but man, it's hard.
it is, and it just takes, you got to drill it and drill it and drill it and drill it to death.
Yeah.
You know, you pick one style and you just drill it. You don't
Yeah,
think about
yeah.
other stuff, but I try to be really fundamental.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of basic stuff.
Mm-hmm. But what's your preferred choke?
I like to attack the feet and legs.
Really, ankle
Yeah.
locks and stuff.
Mhm.
Really, you like the ankle locks? Okay.
I like them. I got to train with a guy named Jesse Mayo,
Mm-hmm.
who is he was a Sambo black belt,
Mm-hmm.
footlock specialist. So I got to train with him some and get some pointers, and I like to play a lot of butterfly to one-legged X, and then try to start attacking the lower limbs.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, man. I need to look into it because I'm the same way. I mean, well, I'm doing more old man jujitsu, but I've been working on the worm guard, but I do it a lot with like white belts. They don't know what the hell's going on.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm trying to do I'm trying to do Elijah. I'm trying to train with Elijah as far as like the Berimbolo, man. But I got a bad back, so
Yeah.
it's harder for me to.
There's a lot of ways to get to the back, and he knows a lot of.
Yeah, man. I've said this many times before, man. I don't even train with my son, man, because my son's he's Elijah Youngblood Pizarro. He's like a high level guy.
Yeah, he's real good.
I feel like I'm wasting his time, man, which I really am. It's like I can't compete at that level, man. I'm 46, 47.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you've trained with him, but you look like a high level guy.
He's tough.
Yeah.
He's
but you still look like, I'm sure he doesn't just push you around.
No, but I mean, you might as well nickname him Jansport.
But how old
He's going to be a backpack on you.
How old are you?
I'm 39.
Yeah, you're still up there, though, man. He's fucking like he's in the prime of his life.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I mean, do you remember when you were his age?
Barely.
But still, my point is like, how do you compete with that? All right, so he's like, yeah, I got it, man. I'm tracking. He's like a technical guy and stuff like that, but he's like 20. He just turned 25, man. At that age, I mean, you remember, I mean, if anything, you feel, I mean, I felt like I could run through a wall when I was 25.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
So it's almost like he's got the technical stuff, but he has an unfair advantage because he's so young,
But it's still fun to train with him because he's pushing. He's pushing and he's pushing. And I think that makes us all better in some way, shape, or form. We just stay humble. We get on the mats. Belts don't even matter. We just train to get better. And that's what's so great about Team Roberto Traven is that everybody is there to make everybody better. No one seems like they're about themselves. It's team first.
Yeah.
Which is nice. And I'm sure you've heard of the Sunday competition trainings.
Dude, I've been there a few times just to take pictures, man. You guys train like animals, man.
It's got to be close to like 3 hours.
You guys really do train like animals. I've actually taken pictures and stuff and footage when you guys train on Sunday, and it's amazing how long you guys are out there just sparring, man. I only train twice a week, and like I said, man, I train with a lot of white belts, very few blue belts because I have a business and I have to use my hands a lot. So if I break my arm or anything like that, my business will will suffer.
Yeah.
And dude, like I said, man, I have no aspirations like you guys. I mean, you guys are just competitors, man. I just do it because I love it. And I honestly, David, I want to do it because I love seeing white belts learn jiu-jitsu. That's how I get my satisfaction. As a matter of fact, man, I was having a hard time submitting people for a long time because whatever, my head is just not there anymore,
Yep.
But I love it when these kids like get it, man, when when they start picking it up, because a lot of these kids, they're afraid to train. They're afraid to go into a jiu-jitsu school. And, that's why I did this podcast too, man, is I'm trying to get more people interested in the sport. And I want to have people like yourself that have been doing it for a long time to try to figure this out, man. How can we get more people into jiu-jitsu?
Man, it's tough because a lot of people think of it maybe a certain way that it's the UFC.
Yeah.
But it's not like
not at all, man.
Balls to the wall fighting. It's it's a lot of control in there as well. So I think people maybe have the wrong idea of it. Some do, some don't, and really just takes people walking in the gym, I think, seeing it, and then maybe want to try one class. And I've seen so many white belts come in and they just get addicted like that. I mean, and they'll come to every class, just be about it. And it's awesome to see them catch that fever of wanting to do jiu-jitsu.
I think a lot of people, I think they get intimidated, man.
I'm sure.
Because I mean, I'm sure you've heard of those schools where you go and basically they just want to hurt you, man.
That's not a very good school.
Not
a very good school. We try to welcome people with open arms. Obviously, we're going to choke them.
Of course.
But we want to show them what we did. We don't want to be bullies. We want to educate.
But David, so how do we look at, like, these people that are looking for a good school? How do they go about? How do you know if you have a good school, and how do you know if there's a bad school? How do you differentiate between that? Do you know? I mean, if you were a white belt, a guy that's wanting to get into this,
I guess you would just have to use your own judgment. If you're going in there and there's guys running around cussing with their shirts off, trying to be the alpha male that we were talking about, I don't think that's a very good school. You got to use your own judgment. Because when we trained with Chip in Cartersville, he said this should be a place where your grandmother could walk in.
Exactly.
Your wife, your children. You show respect. Man. You're not screaming and cussing. You show everybody respect.
Yeah. Listen, man, I try to push that to people all the time. And I was around some of the finest warriors this country's ever produced, and I've never. They were never like that. They were never like running their mouth or being aggressive. Those are some of the most humble people that I was ever around, and that's what kind of got me back into jiu-jitsu. Is seeing that humility all over again, man. And that's really what it's all about. You can be a warrior, but just because you're a warrior, you don't have to be an asshole, man. If anything, you should be like that. You know what I'm saying? You should have good manners,
I think people who are trained to fight and they know how to inflict pain or subdue someone, you don't need to run around and prove it.
Exactly.
If you have that skill, there's no reason to tell everybody that skill.
Exactly.
I mean, you do that, people are going to come out of the woodwork and try.
Yeah.
Just to see if they can make a name for themselves. It's like, no. Don't need all that.
So for all you young guys out there, man, that think that that's what you need to do, that's the wrong thing to do, man. Like real warriors don't do that. They don't have a need to do that, and it's just a bad example. You're setting a bad example for other people, man. Just because you can hurt somebody doesn't mean that you should walk around and bully people and be negative and yeah. I mean, dude, I feel the same way too. And obviously offline, dude, I have obviously I used a lot of cuss words, but it's between men.
Yeah.
But dude, there's a time and a place, man. If like I'm working with kids, I'm not going to be using bad language because they're looking at me to be like, well, if Frank is using bad language, well, that means that I can use bad language. I mean, what do you think about that?
Well, with my kids, I want them to look at me as a good role model. Exactly. I want them to be proud of me when they look at me and say, of course, that's my dad. He does right.
Of course.
He's a good man. So, when I just try to carry myself in that manner because I know other people are looking at me.
Of course.
And I value their opinion.
Yeah. Dude, you hit that right on the head, David. I actually said that last night, man. It's like, I think my kids, man, they keep me straight, man, because, they're looking for a role model and I'm that role model. So if basically, if I'm a piece of shit, I mean, they're going to be like, well, what's going on here?
That's what they're going to see. They're going to emulate.
Exactly.
And I don't want to do that, especially with my kids. I want them to grow up and take little pieces of me in their life and implement that. And what would my dad have done in this scenario? So I always try to walk the straight and narrow.
Listen, man.
Try my best.
We're not perfect. Man.
No,
I'm not perfect. So listen, that's the reason why I named this podcast For the Old Breed, because really this podcast, this is really dedicated to my grandpa, man. He's from like the greatest generation. And I always say if I can be half the man my grandpa was, I did something right. And I think to us, you said you're 39, right?
Yeah.
I think it's up to us, man, to try to be an example, especially now. I mean, what do you think about this generation right now? And I want you to be honest.
It's different because I was growing up during the '80s and the '90s too. I remember when there wasn't internet.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
freak
yeah.
my kids out when I start saying this stuff, but I remember there's no internet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There was no cell phone.
Yeah.
Nintendo came out down the road. We went outside and threw dirt clods and played army in the backyard and used our imaginations, climbed trees and stuff. And now everybody's looking at a phone or a tablet.
Exactly.
And that's the main reason why I got my two oldest started in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
They made me mad one day.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't get off their iPods. Told them to get in the car. We're going to the gym.
Listen, I'll be the first one to admit, man, I do the same thing too. I think it's just at the same time, it's really what you do with that phone, man. What are you doing with the phone? I mean, if that's what I mean, I actually said that last night. I mean, you could be on Pornhub all day, or you could actually try to learn something from what you have. So at the same time, I think you have to kind of like embrace technology, but use technology for something useful, man.
Sure, educate yourself.
Right?
Use it as a tool. Like, back in the day, it was Encyclopedia Britannica.
Exactly. Exactly.
And now they have everything. We have everything at the palm of our hands. So, I mean, it's definitely a useful tool.
Mm-hmm.
It could also be bad, too.
Dude, I would say I probably spend like 70% of my time on my phone when I'm at work, because I'm putting stuff out, like as far as like content for my business, because I use my phone for my business a lot, man.
Right.
And even especially now, more so now that I'm doing the podcast, because I'm talking to people all the time. Hey, man, you want to do one podcast? Like kind of the way we started. I mean, so just so you people know, David and I don't really know each other. I just saw him in this jiu-jitsu community, and I was like, man, I think this guy would be an interesting guy to interview. That's the only reason I thought about it, because I was like, well, he's a brown belt. Obviously you're getting after it. I mean, you've been doing it for a long time. I mean, you paid your dues.
Yeah, definitely.
So when are you gonna get your black belt?
Whenever
it's coming, or you think?
I don't know.
No,
I don't even really think
about it.
Nah, not really. I just want to train. When someone deems me a black belt, that's when it happens. I don't stress about it.
Mm-hmm.
I've been training so long. I just love training. I love training with the people I train with. Mm-hmm. If I never got a black belt, I would still continue to come and train, because it's in my DNA now. It's ingrained in me. And
you said you started in 2009, right?
I did.
So there you go, guys. So David's been doing it since 2009. And what I always tell a lot of these guys too that are getting into jiu-jitsu, don't worry about the belt, man. A lot of people worry about the belt. Enjoy the process, right?
Yeah. And I mean, realistically, you do think about the belt. Everyone does. You want that. It's a feather in your cap.
Mm-hmm.
For all that hard work and the butt whoopings you take when you go train. But at the same time, you gotta take a step back and say, am I doing this for the belt? Mm-hmm. Or am I doing this to learn the art and one day share the art?
Exactly.
And that's God, Chip said so many things to us, and that's just that kind of stuck. Just come and train. Enjoy the art. Don't try to be better than everyone else in the gym. Be better than you were yesterday. One step at a time. Baby steps. That's all it is.
There you go, guys. So yeah, man, just enjoy the process, man. Don't be so worried about going to the next belt, man. I feel the same way too, man. And like I said, that's why I started going back and doing jiu-jitsu, and actually went to a school, and I was like, dude, I just want to be able to get if anything, start with my blue belt. But dude, I really don't care, man. I just love doing it, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, I love to see that with people. I was telling Humberto, man, I know this kid who was 300 pounds, and he's lost about 50 pounds now, and he's hooked. And that's because he's doing jiu-jitsu all the time.
Everybody loses weight.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody that I've ever known come in the gym, they lose weight.
Yeah.
And it may not be their main focus.
Yeah.
But they come in, they train. It's a lifestyle. You start to think, all right, well, jiu-jitsu's me going to the gym. How do I get better? Mm-hmm. You can watch YouTube. You can buy all the videos. You can go and you can drill. Okay, well, how do I get even better? Mm-hmm. You start looking at what you put in your body. With what you get out of your body. How would I be better? Maybe if I did lose a few pounds, I'd be more agile, more flexible. So you start to make decisions when you get hooked on jiu-jitsu, I think. And it's a drug.
So are you conscious about like your dieting, or because I know Elijah is?
I am. I try to drink as much water as I can every day. I have such a high metabolism that I try to eat and eat and eat.
Yeah, because you're about what, 6'1"?
6'1".
Yeah, you're like super wiry, man.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. Like if I
work,
work so much during the day, it's a very labor intensive job. Say we work 8-10 hours and I get off, I drive an hour and a half home, shower, drive an hour back to the gym, train for 2 hours, and then drive an hour back home, get home 9:30, 10 o'clock at night.
Jesus.
Get into bed 11, back up at 4:30 for another full day. If we go train that night, it is what it is. It's a sacrifice.
But what are you trying to train? Are you trying to do like 3-4 days a week? Or what's your schedule look like?
Yeah, my schedule always changes. Sometimes I'll work in the evenings. Sometimes I'll work mostly during the days, but they'll ask me to work weekends. Well, when you get off here, can you go here? So it's tough. I train whenever I can, really, whenever my schedule allows.
Now, as far as your training, but do you try to be like, do you say to yourself, I want to train 4 to 5 days a week, or do you say to yourself, I want to train at least two times a week? How do you do that?
2 times a week
at least
is good. If you can get in there once a week, it's better than none. But twice a week's good. If you can get in there more. But that's the thing. Everybody's schedule is different. The guy coming in 4 to 5 times a week he's going to progress faster than you or I. So
yeah, man.
You think you want to get better, but the circumstances are always changing. The guy that trains 4 or 5 times a week he's gonna have a leg up on you.
Listen, man, dude, that's what I'm saying. It's like so basically I've kind of like made it to where, as far as Elijah, I'm like, dude, just because honestly, man, I'm not gonna lie to you, I really want Elijah to be a world champion. So that's what he focuses on. So as far as like anything else, I'm like, I think about it as an investment. You know what I'm saying? But guys like us that have to feed our families and have to, we're not just focused on jiu-jitsu. We have a life that we have to balance, right? It's a lot harder.
God, I'd love to go compete in the Pans or the Worlds, but it's all right. I got to take a week off.
Yeah.
I got to go out here and spend money. So it's hard, especially with kids, for like you and I who have responsibilities and stuff. So for the younger generation, man, I soak it up. Like Elijah, Anvu, Muhammad Ibrahim, Tim Hopper, guys like that who are younger, who maybe aren't married and have kids yet. Man, get after it. Train all that you can. Go to California and Vegas and compete. Be everything you can, because down the road it could be lucrative.
Yeah.
You could open a gym. You could do privates. You could start making money off of jiu-jitsu too, if that's the route you wanted to take.
Yeah, I was telling Rodney that I was actually thinking about opening up a school, but with this whole COVID thing, man, I think I'm gonna have to kind of put that on hold, man. Because just think about that too, man. How many jiu-jitsu schools went out of business because of all this?
I would imagine quite a few, yeah. Quite a few. I hate that too. Hopefully there's some kind of help or something for small businesses like that. But I'm sure that's a process of filling out paperwork and applying for things. So yeah, I'm sure some guys have gone under, and I hate that. Hopefully they can rebound.
Yeah, man. I think about that a lot, man. I think about all the people that are they're out of work, and there's a lot of states that are they're still shut down.
Yeah.
They're having riots up in Michigan now because of that, because people want to go back to work, man. So I don't really know what to think about all this, man. I just I don't know, man. I think as Americans, it just almost becomes unconstitutional when we almost become like a police state when they're like telling us we need to stay home, and it just, I get frustrated. Do you feel the frustration, or are you good because you're still working?
I haven't missed a beat.
Yeah.
You know, and if anything, I feel like I've been working more hours.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's actually been beneficial for you.
I don't know if it's any better, if any worse. Say this COVID-19 wasn't going on. I mean, I could still be working the same amount of hours.
Mm.
It's supposed to be a busy year for our company this year, so it's going to come in leaps and bounds either way.
Mm.
Now that maybe jobs have been pushed back,
Mm-hmm.
they might still want to meet the same deadline. So as soon as we hit the job, it's all right. We're working 10-hour days, 5 days a week, 6 days a week.
Mm-hmm. But that's your average. You're working between 40 to 60 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Do you want another beer or what, man? I know you do.
I'll take it.
All right, guys. So let's say, so I got to go get another beer. So we got to keep David talking, right? We got to keep David talking. So what can we talk about, David, so I can go get the beer?
I'm gonna step outside too.
Are you gonna step outside?
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead. Go take a. David has to take a tactical piss, guys. So I'm gonna keep talking while David goes back there because this is live. Forgive my dog, guys. Listen, this is unbelievable, man. Now that I have everything set up, I can't get my dogs to shut up because I have 4 dogs. So of course that's what you're hearing in the background as I am interviewing David. Okay, I wish I could. I don't know. I don't want to hurt my dogs, but I definitely would like to, with the proper amount of force in my foot, I would like to put that right in my dog's asses because it won't shut up. But you see him laughing. He's back there laughing at me. But so there it is, guys. So we're, like I said, we're here, we're hanging out, we're talking about jiu-jitsu, and so like I said, Ben, the whole point of doing this podcast is for us to promote jiu-jitsu, So like I was asking David earlier, at your age, do you still have aspirations could you still be a world champion if you wanted to?
Yeah, it would be in the Masters division.
Mm-hmm.
Which next year I'll be 40, so I'll be in Masters 3, so maybe I'll have an advantage at that point.
So are there any guys now at Masters that you need to be looking out for that everybody knows about or no?
No, just anybody.
Really?
Anybody, they're all the same.
But there's nobody like famous right now in the Masters? Like if you saw him, you'd be like, dude, that guy's legit.
Well, I think a lot of the famous guys still try to compete at the adult level.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the proving ground, I guess. If you're whatever age and you can go in the adult division and win, then it's a bigger feather in the cap than saying, well, I won the Masters division or something. But because you're competing against 18-year-old people that are in the prime, their testosterone is at an all-time high.
Yeah, but still, too, man, the older guys too, even though they're older, they gotta have a lot of tricks up their sleeve, man. I mean, that's why they're old, right?
For sure.
So it's still a different type of jiu-jitsu, man.
Oh yeah, you don't take advantage of old man strength.
Exactly.
That's for sure. The skilled guys that have been around, they have some experience. They're sneaky.
Yeah.
They can be a little sneaky too.
And there's experience too, man. You can't Google experience. That's what we have, over young guys,
Yeah.
It's like the same thing, man. It's like, you try to tell young people stuff and they're like, yeah, whatever. The old man's fucking, he's crazy. He's lost it. I'm like, I'm not crazy, man. It's like I've lived a life. You've lived a life. If I give you advice, you may want to perk up your ears and listen up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
But that's what I was telling you, man. Do you think that this generation's a lot more entitled or no?
A little bit.
Yeah? Why do you think that is? Is it just easier for them?
Maybe, we're in a society today that hands out participation trophies, and I'm all about being politically correct, and I would never want to intentionally offend anyone, but at the same time, I think we as a society have almost gotten scared to voice our opinion on certain things because there's always going to be some backlash from somewhere.
Yeah.
So that's why, I'm race, religion, and politics are like 3 things. If you stay away from those 3 subjects, you're probably going to be okay.
Dude, I always get. I've talked about all this stuff on the podcast before, man, that I think we get so caught up in being left or right. I think a lot of times we forget that we're Americans.
Yeah, I like to say I'm middle of the road. I'm independent.
Yeah,
I'm a
yeah,
free thinker. I'm not going to follow one party or the other. I want to. I'm for the person who's wants best for our country and our people.
hmm
That's where I'm at. So whoever can provide that and be a champion for the Constitution and our rights and the betterment of the United States people, I'm all about that.
yeah. I think it's just. I almost think it's just toxic, man. Everything that you hear on television, the back and forth, the back and forth, and I think sometimes we forget that we're actually privileged to live here.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know,
Yeah,
I mean, I've been to some real shitholes, man, and people they think they got it bad over here. They better go somewhere else, man. You
yeah.
know?
I work real hard for the little bit I got, but I'm compared to a lot of people, I'm rich.
Yeah,
I have a car to drive. I have a roof over
exactly.
my head, clothes. I can go to the store online and buy something.
Mm-hmm.
Where people they might have a dirt floor.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know where the next meal or clean water is coming
Yeah,
from.
yeah.
So I try to stay humble in that regard.
Dude, you look like you're super humble, man. I mean, if I saw you from far away, obviously I would size you up because you're like completely tatted up, man. But you're like really soft spoken, man. That's a good thing,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
It's got to be, man. It's got. I mean, if you're an older guy, you're gonna be like, there's something with this guy, like there's something dangerous about this man, right? But listen, man, it's almost. I want you to take that as a compliment because if nobody knew David and you went to a bar or whatever, man, they don't know what you know. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They could be like, yeah, he's just a biker, but I mean, you're a killer, man. If you think about it, right?
For sure. Yeah, we have the skill set
To really hurt
to
somebody.
really hurt someone if we wanted to.
Yeah. So, like I said, guys, you see, I've had 3 guys on, and they're all beasts. They're all savages. But you see how soft they are, like how soft spoken and humble they are. That's what I'm trying to push out to you guys. When you guys are looking for that figure, man, when you guys are looking for that leader, it's not what you see on television, and it's certainly not what they're pushing out on all these podcasts. You got to be beating people up, and you're looking for fights. I think, David, I think it's actually the opposite.
Sure. You learn it in case you are ever put in that position, but you don't learn it to go put yourself in that position.
Mm-hmm.
That's abuse of the art, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Where you go learn something so special as jiu-jitsu and you get to train with all these excellent people to go out and just be an ass and try to hurt people that don't know the art. You shouldn't be allowed to train.
Do you come from like a stable upbringing? Were you raised by both your parents or no?
No, my parents separated when I was an infant.
Mm-hmm.
So, no. Relationship with parents and this and that is touch and go.
Mm-hmm.
Not we don't have the tightest knit family. We'll put it that way.
But did you have? So you didn't have a father figure growing up, right?
Kinda.
What? Just friends? What?
When he was around.
When he was around?
Yeah, when he was around.
Okay.
We were okay.
No, I'm just asking you, man, because I grew up without a father. I'm the same as you,
Yeah.
But I always say I had an older brother, but I always think, well, he didn't know what the hell was going on. Even though I looked up to him, he didn't know what was going on. So how could he teach me if he didn't have a father,
I think sometimes people teach us what not to do
Mm-hmm.
rather than what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you can watch someone and how they act and how they treat people, and you're like, yeah, I don't want to be that guy.
All right, so listen, I want you to, because we got to have 2 more beers before we get off this thing. I got to go get the beer, but you got to talk about something. So because we can't have dead air time.
Right.
So what can you talk about for 2 minutes while I go get beer?
Oh Lord.
We're gonna challenge David here to see if we can come up with something. 2 minutes, 1 minute. Just talk about something for minutes. So all right. So listen, I'm gonna put this right there. I want you to talk about. So if you were trying to get people into jiu-jitsu, I want you to like get it from like the bottom of your soul to try to get somebody to jiu-jitsu. Why should they do jiu-jitsu? Well, let me go get the beer. Ready? Go. Take your time. Don't get nervous.
No, not at all. Why would you do jiu-jitsu? It's a great sport. If you're an athlete and you want to be competitive, if you have a wrestling or grappling background, that's one reason. Just your overall health. Say you never compete, you can go in the gym and train, and you come out better than when you went in. The fellowship, I think, in a jiu-jitsu school, especially at Coffee BJJ or Rolling Panda BJJ, the fellowship is it's a big reason why I have continued to train, because the men and women that I have met have made me a better person. Kind of helped me keep my head screwed on straight at times, to see other people.
Boom! I'm back. Did we have some
dinner?
dinner?
They do. No.
Did you get it in? Did you get it in?
For sure.
Here, hold on. I'll give you this one.
But jiu-jitsu all around is just. Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
You get a sense of belonging.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I said, you get the fellowship. You meet people that are actually good for you.
Mm-hmm.
While you were out, I said, I've met so many good men and women that have, they made me better as a person.
So who's been your biggest inspiration? Like, from all the people that you've met in the Atlanta area, is there a specific person that you like look up to besides Coffee or Travern or what?
Brent's another one, for him to be a veteran. And, Brent and I knew each other when we didn't know each other. We've looked at old team training photos, and he'll be right here and I'm over here.
That's crazy.
Yeah, when we didn't even know each other.
No, man, Brent is like the nicest guy, man. He's so like, that's exactly how he is. He's like a big panda bear, man. He's just such a nice guy,
Yeah, he is. No, he's super cool. He opened his gym in Dallas, and I live in Calhoun, so that's about an hour from me. So I passed a couple gyms going to his gym.
Really?
But I've trained with him, in Cartersville for so long, and I think it's just a level of comfort you have with people. It's like, I know Brent. Mm-hmm. I know who he is. I know what he's about, his mentality. I know he loves training. He loves it. So I love training with people like that.
Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about offline about trying to get more veterans, to try to get more veterans to do jiu-jitsu, because we have that 22, I think it's something like that, man. It's like 22 suicides a day,
yeah.
Which is it's kind of ridiculous, man. So, that's another reason why I want to have guys like you, man. And if you ever can talk to a veteran that man, and they're having issues, man, you should try to get them to do this beautiful sport, man, because like I think, man, Humberto said it the best, man. You could have all the problems in the world or whatever. You could have something on your mind, and you go on the mat and you forget about all that stuff. I mean, do you find that about jiu-jitsu, that when you're doing it every single time?
If you think about something else, you're getting
choked out
immediately.
Mm-hmm.
If your brain is elsewhere, you're getting submitted.
Mm-hmm. No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go.
No, it's a good feeling too when you're done training and people come by and just shake your hand and they thank you for the training. And it's genuine.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
It's nice to go and it's almost like a support group.
Yeah.
You have people that genuinely care about you and they want to see you again at the next training session.
Now, how big is your school? Do you have a lot of students or no? The school you go to right now or no?
Well, I go to Brent's, and yeah, I mean, I want to say there's probably 20 or 30.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a good number of people there at any given time, and it's steadily growing.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say, I think he's thinking about expanding.
I think he should.
Man, and I think more people will come if he does.
Yeah. No, he told me that he'd lost like 10% the whole COVID thing. No.
Yeah.
So you guys are actually starting to spar, more sparring, actual sparring, because I know I've seen a lot of the schools here in Georgia, man. They're still doing that social distancing crap.
Again, I don't know about the whole thing.
That's what I'm saying, man. I get frustrated, man. It's like, Jesus Christ, it's been like freaking 50 days, man.
Like you
Plus,
said, it depends on what channel you watch on TV, depending on what answer you get. And then some people will shame you into staying at home or wearing a mask or
That's what
something.
I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. Listen, if people were dropping left and right from jiu-jitsu academies, it would be like, well, we probably may want to stop, but that's just not happening, David. It's just not happening. And I just want to do what's pragmatic. I want to do what makes sense. I don't want to do what, listen, man, I had a customer yesterday come in with a turtleneck. He had some sort of a turtleneck, but he had a coffee filter on. And he was there for a half an hour. And I talked to him for literally a half an hour. And I'm like, what kind of world am I living in, man?
You should have offered him a mask.
I mean, I actually gave him a mask. I gave him a mask, and I told him, dude, there's no corona in my shop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I mean, some people really they're just they almost feel like they're gonna catch it. But look, listen, they always talk about how doorknobs and stuff like that are like some of the filthiest places. Are like they're full of fecal matter. So it's like, as human beings, and like I said, this is just bro science. We're always around that stuff, and we're fine. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Before COVID-19, we had a ton of other viruses and diseases run rampant, right? This is the first time I've seen it be classified as a pandemic, I guess, and all these precautions be taken. I remember working at Emory when they were flying Ebola patients in.
Yeah.
And that kind of creeped me out. But again, I'm not as educated on how it's transferred, how you catch it, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
Supposedly, what our company says is you catch the coronavirus through spit or something like that.
Yeah.
Going into your mouth or eyes.
I mean, I almost think even guys that do jiu-jitsu, man, you guys are more immune because you're constantly rolling with other human beings, So I almost think like I said, all this is just bro science. Maybe we're just stronger because we are rolling with people all the time. I think our immunity is maybe a little stronger. So I look at it like that, or I look at the fact that whatever, man, my entire time that I spent in the Army, I mean, we were in the field all the time. It's not like we were bathing,
right?
And even now, I mean, I don't bathe every single day, man. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I almost think like I've built an immunity to certain things because of the way that I've lived my life. I think possibly, could it be the same way with jiu-jitsu guys?
I think so.
Maybe.
I mean, I'm in some crazy places all the time.
Yeah.
Jiu-Jitsu academy and hospitals and this, that, and the other, and I never get sick.
I mean, you got sweaty guys on you all the time, like literally sweaty guys on you all the time. Have you ever gotten any sort of staph or anything?
I've gotten staph twice.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But how do you think you got it? From a mat or from actually somebody dirty? What?
I don't know. It could have been from somebody else, I guess. I really don't know because the mats and everything we train on are clean.
Yeah.
After we train on them, they're clean and disinfected.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not most educated on it, but I'm pretty sure we all have staph on our body. I think some people are just more prevalent to catching things, and some aren't.
Listen, I'm just asking you because I want to know more about it. Because actually, as a matter of fact, it was actually Elijah that was telling me about cutting my nails, man. Because my toenails, I guess, were super long, and he was like, "Dad, come on, man, you got to cut your nails."
Yeah.
So as soon as he told me that, I was like, man, I got to start paying more attention,
Yeah.
I'm always about trying to learn something from people, man. And it's like I always say, I almost take all my experiences from the military, and basically I feel like I run my life as though I were running military operations in the civilian world. So in the military world, that would be called ground truth. So that's what Elijah was telling me. Why? Because Elijah's doing jiu-jitsu all the time. So I need to go to him.
Right.
I need to go to him. Just like if I have a question, you're a brown belt. You're like a seasoned veteran. I'm not going to go by what I think. It means nothing. It means what it's more important about what you think because you've been doing it a lot longer than me continuously. You see what I'm saying?
Right. But in the same breath, a white belt can teach you something.
Oh, most definitely.
A white belt they could catch you in something. You'd be like, oh my God, you know what? I let my guard down. I was this, that, and the other. He caught me. Kudos to him. I did something wrong. Yeah. Even a white belt could point something out and teach you something that day. So I think while I have more experience, I think we can all learn from each other for sure. Because say I show you something or a white belt, I show a white belt something and they have just an incredible question. I'm like, man, I don't know. Let's do it. Let's try it. Put me in that position. Let's figure it out together. Yeah. Because I keep reverting back to Chip, but Chip said, I'm going to show you this. This is my way. Yeah. It is not the way. Yeah. A technique is a technique. And if someone says this is the way you do it and there's no other way, then they're full of mud. Yeah. This is just one way to do it. If it works for you a different way, great.
No, that makes sense. Now, listen, man, like I said, I train with a lot of white belts, so I've been getting a lot of injuries because they don't know what they're doing, man. So I get like I've gotten picked up and fucking body slammed. I had another one.
Oh no,
man! I had another one. I was rolling with real slow and gentle, and I heard a pop, like a real loud pop. Well, he had my thumb and he twisted it, and it popped. And I was wondering where the noise was, where it was coming from. And I looked at my thumb. And thankfully, I'm double jointed, Yeah. But yeah, I was like, dude, you can't do that, man. But you've been around a lot of white belts, right? They can be dangerous, right?
Sure. You got to teach them.
Yeah.
You got to teach them and say, in here, it's for fingers, you grab them all or you don't grab any.
Exactly.
But it's little things. I've stopped many white belts and said, hey, I'm definitely not a dick about it. But it's like, hey, this is how we do it. Yeah. And then they learn going forward, but that's part of. I think that's more part of being a brown belt is bringing people along. Mm-hmm. Hey man, this is the way to do it. Anything I can do to show you to make you better makes you a better training partner for me.
Yeah. No, but listen, going back to that thing about experience, man, I told Elijah about this whole thing with the white belts because I kept getting hurt. All the time, and he was the one that said, "Listen, that's gonna happen." Mm-hmm. You got to watch out for the white belt. So if it wasn't for Elijah, obviously, I'm still getting hurt, but, because I'm still training with white belts.
Yeah.
But point being is he's the one that pointed out to me is like, hey, Dad, you got to be careful because white belts are dangerous. Right?
Yeah.
So, that's experience, David.
And even if they catch a submission or something, that, if I were to catch you in a Kimura, I know I can take it to a certain point and then we go slow with it.
Exactly.
I don't want to hurt my partner.
Exactly.
I want to keep training. I can catch you in a submission. I don't have to crank it. I don't have to make you scream tap. Mm-hmm. We get in that position, and it's okay to say, "All right, tap and start over," and then you go through the process again. It's just a learning process. Even Brent says, "You don't want to be the king of or the champion of the practice, the practice mats." Mm-hmm. Come in and train. Mm-hmm. It's okay to tap. It's okay to get your guard passed. Have a great attitude and keep training.
Now, what do you think about law enforcement? Do you think law enforcement should know jiu-jitsu?
Every one of them. Every last one of them. Not all of them, but I think a lot of them. They're given a sidearm. Mm-hmm. And when you're confronted by someone, your adrenaline kicks in. You get scared. Mm-hmm. And you reach for that pistol.
Exactly.
And it's like, well, what if you knew hand to hand? What if I knew a takedown?
Exactly.
What if I just knew a takedown?
Yeah.
And I could take him down to the ground and subdue him. I think it would be good for all police officers. Anyone in law enforcement, do jiu-jitsu. It's going to keep you in shape.
Yeah.
It's going to put you in good physical condition. It's going to give you some confidence, and you're going to know when someone's right next to you how you can grab them and maybe take them down to the ground. If you take them down to the ground, then it's more than likely going to be a more even scuffle.
Yeah.
Rather than on the feet, you don't want to chase somebody.
And taking somebody's life, man. That
shouldn't be your first reaction is draw a gun and shoot.
I've said this is going to be the third time I talk about it, but it's so important that we understand this, and I really want people to get this, man, because it's I told Humberto, I told Rodney about a case. It's on YouTube, man, where basically, dude, there's like three police officers and they stop this one guy, and the guy gets out of the car and they try to subdue the guy, and he figures out a way to get away from three police officers, gets back into his car, takes out a gun, and I think he shot two of them. So I asked myself, David, that would have been the perfect time for these officers to know basic jujitsu. Basic.
It definitely would have helped,
right?
You know, and it could have gave them an advantage. I'm sure every situation is different, so it's hard to say if they're, you know, and this is just speculation, but if there's three police officers, you say one of them has hand right here, just ready, not just to be ready.
Yes,
but the other two should be able to subdue him, grab him, trip him, take him down the ground and cuff. You know, not choke hold him, not beat a man.
Yeah.
It's a slippery slope because if you resist, I don't know what comes of that. But if you resist a police officer, they're going to do what they have to do.
Yes. No, but like I said, man, like I said, it's like 3 against 1. The mere fact that this guy was able to get away from 3 police officers.
Yeah, that's crazy.
To get back into his car.
Yeah.
Get a weapon and shoot at these police officers. You know, to me, it just sounds like something is not right. Something is not right. And I just don't think, and listen, I'm going to have a police officer on. You probably know him. His name is Brian. He's with Alliance Jiu Jitsu, I believe.
Okay.
Next Thursday, he's supposed to be on. So I would like to get his take, because I know that there's a lot of first responders, there's a lot of police officers that take Jiu Jitsu, but obviously not all.
Yeah.
Right. And I just think that so many things could be prevented just by a double leg, man. Just a simple double leg, to put this guy on the ground, and not to hurt him. Because, that's what happens too. It's like, you can't, if like just a choke, I mean, you could kill somebody, right?
It's happened.
Yeah, and it actually has happened, So, yeah, man. So I'm just trying to, at the end of the day, David, I want us to get away from this whole, black and white, and I don't want to hear it anymore. I want us to focus on being Americans.
Sure.
Let's be Americans. Okay.
Yeah.
I think, maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist. I don't think I am, but I really believe sometimes that I believe that the media is trying to divide us, man.
Divide and conquer.
And I don't like it.
No,
I don't like it, man.
No, I don't listen to a lot of the media because it changes with the channel you watch.
Yeah.
And it's all similar to propaganda.
Mm-hmm.
They're just feeding you misinformation
mm-hmm.
and making you think a certain way. So that's why I try not to watch it. I try to walk around every day, treat every man the same.
Mm-hmm.
No one is any better or any worse than me.
And not just that, David. It's like I go out. I'm sure you go out too. It's like there's blacks and whites and Asians, and we're all getting along for the most part. So when people are talking about, people are being hunted down, did you hear about that case about the GBI thing? That young black guy that was shot?
No.
Whatever, man. It was a case where basically, this is just part of it, and like I said, I'm really not trying to get political. I'm just trying to, this podcast is about, like I said, obviously we're talking about jiu-jitsu, but we're talking as men.
Sure,
we're going back and forth, and I want to know what you think. I want to know what you think. I want to know what's in your mind. Because you're an American, you live, you talk to people, you work with different people all the time. I mean,
all the time.
Right. So do you feel like there's some sort of race war or something going on in our country right now?
No. I really don't. You're gonna have extremists in any genre or any group. You're gonna have crazies.
Yeah.
You're gonna have extremists, but for the most part, people get up every day and they live and they work and we all get along.
Mm-hmm.
But you do have these crazies out there that want to incite violence, who and for reasons unknown to me, I don't see it in my everyday life.
Yeah, I don't either.
We work together, we train together, all races, all religions. Man, if you treat a man with respect, you tend to get respect back.
Yeah,
And that's kind of my creed. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
If you're a good person, I'm gonna treat you like a good person.
Yes. I think that's the consensus really for the most part in America. And I really just want people to realize that this is what our country was founded on. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's kind of like the core of the country that we have, and that's what makes us so different. I want people to really understand that when we're talking about our country, that's what makes us so different from the rest. Right?
You should be able, any man in America, you can do anything you want. You can be anything you want. You can be as successful as you want to be.
That's right.
No matter who you are. If you want to come from another country and set up shop here and become successful, that's what America's about.
That's right.
It doesn't matter where you come from, or this isn't the white man's country or no. No, man, we're a melting pot. You come here and you work your ass off and you have success.
Look at that. See, so David just said it himself, guys. So I want you guys to, to really think about that, and to really, for us to, like I said, that's what I always think about it, man. It's like, let's be Americans. Okay, we're Americans. Okay, and listen, that's what I tell everybody. I said, dude, I got my citizenship in Afghanistan. I had to I had to fly to Bagram to take a test to become an American. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I want people to get my perspective, because I'm so privileged to live here, man. I really am. This country's been so good to me. My children were born here, and I just think that this is the best country in the world, man. And I just want us to not take it for granted,
Yeah. No, I agree 100%, for sure.
So I think that's it, man. I think we pretty much hit every point. David, I want to thank you, man, for taking the time. I know you're a super busy guy, especially with 5 daughters. Jesus Christ.
No problem. I appreciate you having me.
This guy, what the fuck? Like, he must have done something. He must have pissed somebody off, because he's got 5. I have 1, and I feel sorry for you.
I pissed a few off.
Yeah, somebody. You did somebody wrong.
That's for another hour.
Okay. All right, guys. So listen. So David. So like I said, what we were gonna kind of like stay focused on. So I'm gonna let you kind of end this whole podcast, and I want you, if you could say anything to anybody as far as jiu-jitsu, why do people need to start doing jiu-jitsu? Whatever you want to say, go ahead.
If you want a healthier life, if you want to get involved in a sport that's growing and extremely competitive, we'll welcome you with open arms and open chokes.
That's it?
Oops.
All right, guys, that's it from the man himself. So, hey, listen, man, we'd love to have you back on again.
Anytime.
And that's it, guys. That's it from the old breed. We're out. Thank you so much, man. All right, man.
Sweet.
That was awesome, man. Yeah. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it, man.
That's awesome.
We're definitely going to have to do it again.